Birdies For Charity Kickoff webinar. My name is Laura Lynn Workmeister, and I am the Birdies For Charity Manager and Volunteer Coordinator here at the Principal Charity Classic. I know I worked with many of you last year in regard to the Birdies For Charity program, and I look forward to doing so again this year. Many of you who participated in the program last year most likely remember our Birdies For Charity Kickoff event, which was held in February. This webinar is really to supplement in for that event. We think that this is just the most efficient way to get you equipped with everything you need to take full advantage of the 2017 program this year. So today we are going to go through the program basics, which for many of you will just be review. But go back through those basics, make sure we have everything covered. We'll touch on the program changes for 2017, make sure that everyone feels comfortable with those as we move forward. And then briefly at the end, we'll just touch on some program resources that are available to you that you can use throughout the year, again, just to help you better take advantage of this program throughout the year. So at any time as we go through this program, please feel free to use the chat box if you have a question about something that we're covering. I'll try to answer those questions real time. But otherwise, at the end of the presentation, I'll open it up for question and answers. And at that time, you'll either be able to use the microphone in your computer or the phone to ask a question. And I'll be able to respond that way as well. Or again, feel free to use the chat box if anything should come up. So as in years past, we have two sponsors of the 2017 Birdies For Charity program. Siemens Financial Group is the sponsor that makes the matching funds possible each year. So that 10% match that you all are accustomed to, that is provided by Siemens Financial Group. So we greatly appreciate their support, and they're the reason that we've been able to continue to grow this program year after year. And then the second sponsor of the program is John Deere, and they provide monthly prizes as well as a grand prize for the program. Monthly prizes, we actually have two different categories. One is for the organizations that are participating in the program, so that would be any of your organizations. So the organization who receives the most individual pledges that month would receive a John Deere children's toy. So this could be, a motorized tractor or a pedal tractor, and that organization is welcome to use that toy in any way that you find appropriate. So you could use it as a auction or a raffle prize. You could give it to a family that you support, or if you have a children's programming area, you could use it there. And then the other prize, monthly prize that John Deere provides is a prize for a donor through the Birdies For Charity program. So we randomly select one donor from the program each month, and then that donor wins some sort of John Deere prize, whether it's a mower, a grill, a smoker. The prizes kind of change per month. And then I will send out monthly updates in regards to these prizes, as well as just to give you any information you need about upcoming events for the Birdies For Charity program, as well as letting you know where you're at donation-wise. Then finally, the last prize that John Deere provides is anyone is welcome to make a Guess the Birdies entry throughout the year. And so essentially what that entails is a donor can guess how many birdies are going to be made during the 2017 Principal Charity Classic. And so whoever guesses the closest or is dead on win a grand prize of a zero radius turn mower. So this year we had 883 birdies that were made, and I believe the gentleman who won the tractor had guessed 882, so he was very close. So again, that's just added incentives for people to donate through the Birdies For Charity program. So quickly reviewing what makes an organization eligible to participate in the Birdies For Charity program. An organization must have 501c3 status and support children's programming here in the state of Iowa. So an organization doesn't have to be solely dedicated to children's programming, but whatever funds are made through the Birdies for Charity program, those funds need to be designated to children's programming, again, for children here in the state of Iowa. And then the second option for organizations to be involved through the program is to be a school in the state of Iowa, whether that's an elementary school, a middle school, or a high school, anywhere in between. Any of those schools are welcome to be part of the program. And at this time, we actually are enrolling new charities. So if you are familiar with the organizations that haven't participated with Birdies for Charity in previous years, please feel free to either get me contacted with them, or I am happy to reach out to them as well, because this could be a good program for a lot of organizations out there that aren't currently using it. So for the 2017 year, 100% of every donation you receive, 100% of the donations that come in, you will receive those, plus a 10% match up to $10,000 matching funds. And again, just as it was in 2016, there is no minimum to be eligible for the 10% match. So with that being said, if you receive $100 in donations throughout the entire year of Birdies for Charity, you will receive $110 back. Again, there's no minimum for that 10% match. Organizations are welcome to solicit pledges one of two ways. The most common pledge that we get here at the Birdies for Charity program is a flat donation, a one-time flat donation. There used to be a $25 minimum. That's now been waived. So any amount that a donor would want to donate to the Birdies for Charity program, they're welcome to do so. The other type of pledge that a donor can make is a per birdies pledge. So that would be someone who says, I want to donate 5 cents for every birdie that's made during the 2017 Principal Charity Classic. So if someone was to do that, say they pledged 5 cents, essentially what would happen is once the tournament concludes on Sunday, June 11th, we would then send an invoice out to those donors, reminding them saying, you donated or you pledged to pay 5 cents for every birdie that was made during the Principal Charity Classic. This year, 883 birdies were made, therefore your donation is X. And then they can either pay that invoice with a credit card or by check. So we make sure to follow up with all of those donors, and as long as we have the funds put in by July 31st, 2017, those pledges will again receive that 10% match. And then, as in years past, there's two ways that donations can be collected. We have our online database, or we have the hard copy pledge forms. So the hard copy pledge forms are going to be available on November 15th, and those will be, you can either pick those up here at our office in Urbandale, or we'll also have them available at Community Foundation office downtown. So you can stop by, go to the main desk of both offices, and you'll be able to pick up those hard copy pledge forms, and you can use those throughout the year. So some important dates to note: the Birdies for Charity program officially starts on November 1st. So next week on Tuesday, the online database will be live, and donors can start using that to make donations to your organization. So it's a great thing to promote, letting your donors know, hey, Birdies for Charity is back up and running. Make a donation and we'll receive 100% of it, plus it'll be matched at 10%. The program will again run through July 31st, 2017. So even once the Principal Charity Classic is over, it will conclude on June 11th. Once the tournament's over, if you have donors who still want to donate through the Birdies for Charity program, they are more than welcome to do so. As long as all of the funds are collected by July 31st, those funds again will be matched at 10%. As I mentioned, the hard copy pledge forms will be available November 15th. And like we did in 2016, we will distribute funds back to each organization in February, May, and in August. So some of you may remember in years past, the program would run, January through August. And we would actually hold on to all of your donations during that time period and then redistribute them to you in August. But knowing that a lot of our organizations need a quicker turnaround and liquidity of those donations, we've gone to a quarterly payout system. Essentially, how that works is any pledges received through November 1st to November 1st to January 31st. All of those pledges will be returned to you in full the first week of February. And then again, the next period would be February 1st through April 31st. All collected during that time will be redistributed to you the first week of May. And then all pledges received May 1st through July 31st will be distributed in August. So you have a quicker turnaround on those donations. The only thing that isn't, again, distributed till August is the matching dollars. So for the entire year, your matching dollars, those will be distributed in August with that final payout payment. So for 2017, we have several changes to the program, all things that we're excited about. And again, we think that these will just help continue to grow the program and help it sustain over the next few years. So first is we're actually having all of our organizations re-enroll this year. So in years past, if an organization wanted to get involved with the Birdies For Charity program, you would submit an application and turn in your tax ID letter, and then you would be enrolled in the program. You wouldn't be required to re-enroll the next year, so once you're in, you're in. This year, we're actually having everyone re-enroll and submit that application and that tax ID letter. And for us, this is just a good way to update our contact information for a lot of the organizations, as well as reach back to some of the organizations who may have had turnover throughout the last few years and we might have lost touch with. So on the left-hand side of your screen, you should see a shared files portion. There's two documents there that are of importance to you. The first is the 2017 Birdies For Charity application. Like I said, all of your organizations to participate this year will need to turn that in. So if you want to go ahead and download that and get that filled out and emailed back or mailed back to me, that would be great. Once I have that application, I'll be able to go in and enter you into our database, and then donors will be able to start donating to you on the online database. But until I have that application, your organization actually won't show up on the online database as a participating organization. The second change is not so much affecting any of our organizations, but more of our donors and the program financials overall. So this year, we're giving donors who use a credit card online the option to cover their transaction fee. So with this, just as years past, you will receive 100% of every donation you receive. So if someone makes a $100 pledge online and uses their credit card, you're going to get 100% of that. The Principal Charity Classic is the ones that does pick up the transaction fee. But this year, we're giving donors the option to cover that. It is optional, so it's not required. Donors can choose it or they don't have to. We implemented this hoping that we can, again, just sustain the program long term, knowing that those credit card fees can get pretty high with the donations that we see coming through. So again, not a big change for your organizations, as you will still receive the 100% of every donation, whether the donor chooses to cover the transaction fee or not. And then the final change for the 2017 year is something fun that we thought we could implement. And again, it's just an added incentive to you to get those applications turned in. So the first 81 organizations to enroll in the program or to turn their applications in will get assigned a player from the 2017 Principal Charity Classic field. So essentially what that means is our field, the players who are playing in the 2017 tournament, is finalized the Friday before the tournament. So on Monday of tournament week, the first 81 organizations who turned in that application will get an email, and it will tell them what player they've been assigned. And player assignments will be go against when you turned in your application. So if you're the 5th organization to turn in your application, you'll get assigned to the top, the 5th ranked player in our field. Our field consists of 81 players. That's why the first 81 organizations will assign a player. And then depending on where your player finishes, the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd place finishers, the organizations that are associated with those players will receive an extra $1,500, $1,000, and $500 in matching dollars, respectively. So again, if you get assigned, if you're the 3rd organization to turn in your application, and the 3rd place player or the 3rd ranked player happens to place first, then you would receive $1,500 in matching funds, and again, that would be distributed in August. So in terms of program resources, none of these are new this year, but they are resources that haven't necessarily been utilized in the past. So it's something I just wanted to cover again, as these can be really helpful for you throughout the year. The first is the database login. So each enrolled organization actually has their own login. So at any point throughout the year, you can go to our Birdies for Charity database and log in and see who's donated to your organization, and that's updated real time. So not only can you see who's donated, but you can also see how many pledges you have, how many pledge dollars have been pledged, and you can download all of that into an Excel file, which is pretty helpful, so that way you can keep track of donations on your end, as well as you can download their contact information. So if at any point you want to follow up with those donors on your own, welcome to do so, and you have that information for your files. The direct donation link is each organization who's enrolled in the grant. You actually have your own link that auto-populates your charity as the selected charity when someone's making the donation online. If you were to go through the Birdies for Charity donation process online today, you would go in and fill out your own personal contact information, and then you would scroll through the list of all the participating organizations. This direct donation link takes out that second step and auto-populates your organization in there, so that users don't have to circulate through all of the organizations to find yours. This is a great resource to use on social media, put it on your website, in e-blasts, as again, it kind of helps the gap between the Birdies for Charity program and your organization, because it should give your donors some comfort when they see your organization's name as the first one that pops up as who they can direct their donation to. And then the final resource that you can download here is essentially a grouping of resources that you can use how you see best fit. So it includes the Birdies for Charity logo, it includes a one-page kind of overview of the program, and then it also includes today's presentation. And throughout the year, I'll continue to add to this as things come up, but again, it's just a great resource to have for you throughout the year. So it does look like we have one question, so I'll go ahead and address that one. So the question is, if a donor was to make a $25 donation and chooses not to pay the additional coverage of the processing fee, what amount goes to the charity? So if someone was to make a $25 donation fee and they are using a credit card and they choose not to cover their transaction fee, your organization is still going to receive $25. You'll receive 100% of that donation no matter what. If the donor to cover their transaction fee, again, you'll still receive the $25, and then the Principal Charity Classic will receive the transaction fee. So essentially it zeroes out the expense that the Principal Charity Classic would incur. And yes, this is new. This hasn't been a feature that's been in the past. And once you have access to the online database, I encourage all of you to get online and see how that's set up in the donation process. We try to make it as clear as possible. We state in there to donors that whether you choose to cover your transaction or not, your organization is still going to receive 100% of your donation. That is kind of our main concern, is we want the donors as well as you to know that no matter what, you're going to receive 100% of that donation. So again, I know we went through that pretty quickly. I know a lot of you have been involved with the Birdies for Charity program for many years now, so I just wanted to quickly run through those basics of the program and then touch on the changes for this year. Nothing significant, but again, all things that we hope just continue to grow the program and make it a better experience for you and the donors. So I will be your main point of contact for the Birdies for Charity program this year. Any questions you have, if donors have any questions, please direct them to me. And then John Allman, who's also a member of the Principal Charity Classic team, will kind of be our second in command. So if there's times where we have a lot going on, you might see emails from me and John. Our office address is here, so any hard copy pledge forms you have, please direct them to that address. Or again, we can do things over email as well. So I'm going to go ahead and address the questions in the answer box. So if you have any questions, feel free to type those out there. Or I will switch it over to question and answer form. So if you have a question, you'll be able to indicate that on the screen and then ask that over the phone or through your microphone. So the first question I have is, how many people make a Birdies pledge rather than a flat donation? I would say it's probably about 85% of our donations are actually a flat donation. And then about 15% of the pledges we see throughout the year are a per Birdies pledge. I think for the most part, it's just clearer and people understand what the flat donation is, so that's the route that they choose. But we do have donors who've been involved with the program since the beginning, and they choose to do the per Birdies pledge. So about 15% of the pledges we receive are per Birdies pledges. So the deck that we went through today, this presentation, is also available on your left-hand side. So you can go ahead and download that presentation for your files. But next week, we will also be sending out an email to our distribution list with this recorded webinar. So you can have it for your files. You're able to download it, access it anytime, replay it if you have questions, but you'll also get this presentation to have. So it's a great resource to share with your team if someone wasn't able to join today, or if you have a board or anything like that. This is just a good resource to have throughout the year. But again, I'm available if you have any questions. You can always reach out to me. The most important thing now is just to get your applications completed and get those turned in. So that way next week on Tuesday, November 1st, donors can go online and start accessing your organization as where they want to direct their donations.